Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is November 2nd. Right now we're looking at the infrared satellite image. I got the whole Pacific Ocean shown. You can see our system is way back here across Pacific still. It's going to be riding on this jet stream, coming across the Gulf of Alaska and ushering itself into western BC, casting a pretty powerful pressure gradient as we go through the day Monday. But in the meantime, we do have a frontal system moving through today. It's going to bring some increased precipitation amounts as we go through this afternoon. There's still some residual showers out there right now also. So we'll dive into those details here as we go through the morning video here. So taking a look at Blue Sky, I am on here now. It's much less politically active and there's a lot less ads, and a lot of the weather weenies have gone over here now. So if you want to download the Blue Sky app and check me out over here, I am over here now giving daily updates outside of the videos here on YouTube. So taking a look at Seattle yesterday, 51, 55 the average high, but look at that, 59 hundredths of an inch of rain. And November is our rainiest month here. December and January are pretty rainy as well, but you can see 6.3 inches of rain. Look at these normal precipitation amounts per day. It peaks right there on November 17th. Look at 0.23 inches of precipitation is the average there since records have been kept at SeaTac. So pretty interesting stuff. You can see some of the huge amounts we've received on daily values out there as well back in previous years. So let's back this up. We're looking at the Gulf of Alaska. We got Washington, Oregon, and British Columbia to the right. So let's look at what's going on aloft. There goes that frontal system, kind of a reinforcement of the trough. That's what we're dealing with right now. So that's going to be moving through. We get a little bit of a break here on Sunday. Some residual showers still around. But then look at this. This breaking wave just comes ripping across British Columbia and Western Washington. It's going to usher in more precipitation, some mountain snows. And the big story of that is the big winds that will be accompanying this. And we've got some big wave action on the coastline as well. I'll show you more on that here in a moment. And after that, we may get a little bit of a break, but we'll deal with the extended forecast here as we go through probably tomorrow's weather briefing a little bit more. Now, looking at 500 millibars, you'll see how this correlates with temperature aloft. I got the GFS, the European here on the left. The GFS is the global forecast system, or the USA model, and the European, of course, is done by Europe, places in Europe. So if we take a look here, you can see the frontal system kind of is a little bit of a reinforcing shot there as we go through tomorrow, tonight and tomorrow, let's call it, before that starts to move out of the area. And then we've got the next system. You can see pretty good model agreement on this trough in this short wave, this mean short wave, this strong frontal system ripping through here. Models have been flipping and flopping just how strong this is going to be. So like most things with the strong wind potential, we're going to go down to the wire and we're going to revisit this all again tomorrow. But you can see, yeah, this is a nice placement here for some very gusty winds and a strong westerly surge across some of the areas that are prone to that, especially east slopes of the Cascades, Strait of Juan de Fuca as well, and even a nice southerly surge ahead of that. So I'll start to show you that right now. Looking at about 2,500 feet up in the atmosphere. Again, we're looking at the Pacific Ocean here. There's Washington, Oregon, and British Columbia. Here goes our frontal system today. It's fairly weak compared to its cousin that is ripping across. You can see the cyclone development here across the Gulf of Alaska just rushes into British Columbia. Look at the strong southerly wind in advance of that system, and then the powerful westerly surge that pressure gradient sets up across the region, and the low pressure comes ripping across British Columbia towards Alberta. And by the time we go towards Monday late afternoon and evening hours, the westerlies are going to be hammering down the Strait of Juan de Fuca. Big wind shift incoming here. Look at some of those speeds in a moment. But first of all, I want to show you a little bit closer, 100-meter wind speeds. This is last night's European model run. This is today's system and tonight's, a little bit of a wind bump there, not too big. A little bit of a break on Sunday, though, and then we start to scroll up, and you'll see the winds really kick up out of the south as we go through the day. Monday, check these out. These are sustained wind speeds in knots. So, you're looking at 24, you're looking more like 28 or 29 miles per hour, sustained. And look at these big winds across the interior, Sailor Sea, straight to Georgia, up to Washington, some of the northwest Oregon coast. Again, this is Monday morning about 7 a.m. Then we look towards about 10 a.m. here, and you can see these winds really increase out of the south. You see the wind shift occurring here on the Washington coast, and that's going to be moving down the Oregon coast eventually. And then look at that westerly surge come racing down the Strait of Juan de Fuca there. Big surge in towards Whidbey Island. Big wave potential with that also. And look at some of these winds on the east slopes of the Cascades. This is favorable for strong winds out of the west for the east slopes of the Cascades. Cascades and across some of the Columbia Basin here as we go through the day Monday. Look at those winds. Those are, again, are sustained just off the surface at 100 meters. So very windy conditions coming in as we go through Monday afternoon and Monday night for places like Spokane, Ritzville, Moses Lake, and especially for the east slopes of the Cascades, maybe the Natchez, and places of higher terrain up around Lake Chelan, Highway 2, for example. So if I take a look here at the NAM 3 cam, this is the most recent. I keep updating this because it is running as we speak. It usually goes out 60 hours. We may not have all that data here as I run it right now, but you can see the frontal system coming in. It's going to bring rain all the way up and down the Vancouver Island, Washington, Oregon coast as we go through the day today. That'll shift inland. And you can see, you know, it's not too bad. It's definitely not like its cousin that's coming in behind it, because watch as we start to get a little bit closer here. Look at this frontal system marching in as we go through Monday morning here. We're about 51 hours out, but you can see there is some moderate, maybe even some heavy rain at times. There can be some mountain snows also, and some big wave action on the coastal areas. And looking at Seattle, Tacoma, there is a winter weather advisory up. I just did want to point this out. That's for 3,500 feet and above, 6 to 11 inches. This goes all the way on in through tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Sunday. Travel could be difficult. And don't just assume that Snoqualmie Pass could get a little bit of accumulation down at 3,000 feet. It's pretty close. Stevens Pass, though, is at 4,000 feet on Highway 2, and White Pass, some of those areas may be getting more snowfall versus Snoqualmie Pass. Taking a look at Whidbey Island, check out some of these wind speeds, 62 miles per hour. The ensemble mean is well into the mid-50s. You can see the ensemble agreement with the big winds that are coming with this system. Astoria, you're on the southern edge of some of the stronger winds. There's 44 miles per hour in the latest control run, but look at Hoquiam. You go a little bit further north. They're gusting up over 50. Good ensemble agreement as well. 50 miles per hour right on the nose. Seattle, Tacoma could have a gust in the mid or upper 40s also. That'll get your attention. That could cause some nuisance power outages also. Olympia, look at that 50, what is that, 50 miles per hour, 51. I can't exactly read it. It's kind of a small text there. But if we take a look at these wind speeds, I'm going to just scroll through everything, and you can see the east slopes of the Cascades again, especially across the higher terrain. Look at that Lake Chelan. You're talking about gusts potentially up over 70 miles per hour for some isolated locations, and a big surge down the Strait of Juan de Fuca, some 50 mile per hour gusts to the Washington coast, maybe even getting down to Astoria. We'll see how that goes. But look at Bellingham after all is said and done, 59 miles per hour as well. Now, I want to show you the wave action here. So as we go through the day today, you can see a little bit of a bump for Sunday. There's some pretty decent waves going on during Sunday afternoon. Then we get a tiny bit of a break, but then look at quickly this next system is on its way. And look at some of these wave heights just burrowing into Vancouver Island and the Washington coast, just hammering the coastline there. And some of this wave action will be coming down the Strait of Juan de Fuca here as well. So watch out for that if you're out across some of the northern Puget Sound waters as we go on in through very early Monday morning through the day Monday. You're going to want to be watching, because I noticed the National Weather Service doesn't have any kind of warnings or advisories up right now, and it's the time to be getting the word out. You don't want to be making plans to be out on a boat on the day Monday across the Puget Sound with these winds come ripping across and increased wave activity, no doubt. So I've scrolled this one all the way out. You can see we're going to get another couple rounds, including today, and then Monday. You can see some of the rain shadowing that goes on as these systems run into the Cascades for eastern Oregon and Washington. Then we pick up those values again as we go across the higher terrain of Idaho and some of northeast Washington and some of the Blue Mountains there as well. But this is scrolled all the way out towards next Thursday. So if we take a look at total snow and ratio, I'm just going to fly through this here. So as we go through Monday, you can see, again, that second system will mainly be impacting portions of Washington and British Columbia, but you saw kind of the bump there. Let me scroll backwards. As we go through the day today, so Oregon Cascade still actively snowing. So again, if you're off in the backcountry, be prepared for some of that winter driving condition, but we are not expecting snowfall in the lower elevations from any of these systems. Here's the 6 to 10 day above average for the Pacific Northwest. Take that with a grain of salt. That doesn't mean too much right now, but you can see they've kind of trended back to above average here for some of the West Coast also. But anyway, got some things to do today. I have to go back to work, so I'm going to wrap this video up right now. We're going to go into the system in some detail again tomorrow morning, and we'll try to pinpoint exactly what kind of wind speeds. Did the system trend stronger or weaker? We'll go through all that. Hope you guys are having a good day. Otherwise, click like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys then.